Do you think it's too early to talk about Patrick Mahomes as the greatest of all time? To be honest with you, I think he might be ahead of the pace. It was definitely on pace, maybe ahead of the pace. I think right now everything that he does is going to get overblown, and I think people so quickly forgot the 20-year run of the Patriots. Not 5-6 years, 20-year run of Tom Brady and the Patriots.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The first and only African-American male to win the U.S. Open and Wimbledon, champion tennis player Arthur Ashe was denied entry to South Africa in 1969.
The law is the law and I cannot play. So I drive away from that with my coach, knowing that the only reason I could not play was because I was black.
We salute star athlete and fighter for justice, Arthur Ashe, during Black History Month.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
A wise nation honors and learns from its past. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. February is Black History Month, a celebration of the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Knowledge is our strongest tool against injustice. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into Bigger Than the Score here on Ticket Weekends on this Sunday. A little bit nicer Sunday. It got a little cold this weekend, but nonetheless, welcome in to all of our Sunday programming. Starts right here at 8 a.m. with Bigger Than the Score. I got the host, as always, Pete Ferguson to my left, along with quite a few guests in studio as well. And if you guys ever want to join the show, 402-464-5685. Streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. Pete, how's it going this morning?
No, not too bad. How you doing this morning, Harrison?
It's been good. We kind of talked about it, but busy week. A lot of Supernovas content, but I mean, it's been good. They've been kind of turning around their season. Obviously, you've had a lot of Nebraska basketball hoops going around. High school hoops kind of heating up. We're getting, I think, districts for women starts this week.
Yeah.
Then guys will be following soon after. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot going on. It's busy time of year, but it's basketball time of year. So
kind of call it that transition time of year. I think once after the Super Bowl hits last weekend, and everybody kind of comes off that that high, and also just thoughts and prayers go out to those impacted in Kansas City. Just a tremendous. On what was supposed to be a day of celebration ended up somewhat tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so thoughts and prayers and well wishes are with those families. But Kansas City, pulls it out. And, what I would say the second half was well worth the watch. The first half, I guess, a battle of two defenses. But again, bringing home back to back, which is impressive all the way around in that. San Francisco, definitely proved that they have a team that could be there for a while. Halftime show, I think that was the thing that everybody was looking for. And I think I told you last year, I got to see Usher last summer. At his Vegas residency, and so kind of interested. What did you think?
It wasn't for me.
Okay, next topic.
Yeah,
Girl Scout cookies. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie there, Harrison? I just didn't care for it. I was looking for Bonnie Raitt. And
I mean, what'd you think? You got to see him in Vegas.
You know what? I that's just got to be a hard gig. I think it's been over talked, but I mean, one, to just be asked to do that. I mean, you think about it, there's only been so many Super Bowls. And so there, and then when they started that to be asked to do that, to be on the likes of Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Prince, Dr. Dre. I mean, to even be asked means that you are elevated at a level that's iconic. And so there's always going to be criticism. So, I was appreciative of it. As somebody I knew, when I say I knew, like me and him just kick it and do whatever. But, I was asked before Justin Bieber was to go ahead and sing. But it was, it was good. Like I said, you recognize the tunes, brought out Alicia Keys. I was really appreciative that he brought out just some of the HBCUs and incorporated other components like the bands and just the other, performers and the scholars. And so I think that's a cool thing where it's not you've been on stages like that before, but you bring other people into those stages.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I will say this, I think you're right. That is such a task to take on.
Yeah.
Because I'd imagine, they don't, the first person they ask probably doesn't always say yes, because on top of all the choreography and everything, back in the day, you set up a stage, hey, play your hits, and it'll be a great halftime show. Now it's like we got to have months of rehearsal practice. I mean, the amount of swapping around costume changes that they all do, I wonder how long it takes to do all that. Like, you probably got to push off all of the music, everything you're working on for a while just to get all the choreography done for that.
Well, and they're talking about why doesn't Beyonce or Taylor Swift, they're in major concerts, or they're in major tours. And so if you're doing that, in order to be able to go ahead and say, this is what we're going to do, and put all this focus into it. I don't want to say it elevates your career. It's kind of one of those things that's a pinnacle of your career if you're a certain type of person. And so it does impact you doing some of the other things. So, it was good all the way around. Again, congratulations to that. You talked about a lot of the things that are going on, in state. You got the girls' districts. Boys are winding up their season, some makeup games, those type of things. Had state wrestling in Omaha, which again was great. Again, congratulations to those champions. I want to see the girls' side, Omaha West side, show their dominance again, and so they continue to just rack up champions. I think that NSA championship trophy is going to head there. Class A was Millard South, Class B was Waverly, Class C was Battle Creek, and then Aquinas Catholic was Class D. And so congratulations to those champions. That's just a sport like I just marvel at just the ability of discipline. People use overturn the grit and just toughness, but it's just one of those sports that I think doesn't get as much appreciation as it should. So congratulations to all those state champions and also those individuals that got to participate.
Yeah, for anyone doing wrestling out there, I'm right there with you. I got utmost respect for. I remember it being in high school, like thinking about cutting weight in high school, and I'm at my school lunches. Like that was crazy to me seeing dudes out there. But it's a brutal sport and it takes a lot out of you. But shout out to everyone doing that. I think even the UNL team, I think they're up to number 3, nationally ranked as well. So I know that's a little bit of a different sport, but if you haven't been there, definitely just go support the wrestling team, the college team as well. Because if you haven't been even your high school events, I think a lot of people just haven't gone to a wrestling event because they're a great time. If you just go to one of those, I think most people would come out of it being like, that was a really fun event to go watch. And if you go watch like Big Ten in particular, it's some of the best athletes out there. Nebraska, Penn State, Iowa. Like if you get any sort of Big Ten matchup for wrestling and you haven't checked it out, you have to go see it. It's incredible.
Well, and just like I said, when you talk about it, like Jordan Burroughs, I mean, you had individuals like that here. So even Nebraska, Nebraska Westland.
There was a woman wrestler who went to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even think about that stuff.
Well, and they're at the pinnacle of what they're doing and the time and investment. So I agree with you. You get a chance to go watch that. Just some other things. Just wanted to drop a couple notes to mention. We had the Roadrunner Classic this week, and so it kind of filled my Twitter and my social media posts. But you were here last week. We had Dana on and Isamara, and really cool statement that she made about a young lady. I'm still kind of taken back. I appreciate you cutting the clip. If you haven't gotten to see it, you can always watch the past shows on YouTube. You can go to Amazon Prime, or Allo Fiber channel 961.
Yep, 961.
But we had that, and it was awesome. To be honest, it was a really cool deal. I think I continue each year. Dana Berger, I want to just give her a really big shout out just for the organization. Also just continuing to be invested in those scholars. Wilbur Claytonia came down. Jen Poswissel and her other coaches, they made the trip down 77 and came in, and it was their 3rd, 4th grade team was phenomenal. It was truly something that was just bigger than an actual basketball game. Their parents lined the gym, standing room only. We had 2 most outstanding people of the game. That's what we call them, the most outstanding people of the game. The 93-7 outstanding people of the game for the 2nd year in a row. So I want to thank the Ticket for Sporting. But Libby Stoles, who was from Wilbur, was the outstanding person of the game, chosen by the other team, chosen by Norwood Park. And then we had Jack Nelson from Norwood Park, chosen by the Wilbur Claytonia. And this little dude, man, he was, Harrison, it was phenomenal. Made a couple shots and put it up there, and then ran back, hands behind him and cheering, and everybody, and both sides were cheering. Phil Maynard, who's been on the show, I want to give him a shout out, was a phenomenal announcer. Really hyped the crowd up. And if you get a chance, BHS Productions, I put it on there, but just his energy and how he really truly made it feel like a game. The Norwood Park Choir sang the national anthem.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, they come out and sing the national anthem. And then Southwest Media came, and then we had media coverage from Southwest Media that were 93.7 The Ticket media coverage, and we had scholars that went around, took pictures. So they had their 93.7 The Ticket shirts on, doing interviews. They were little mini Ricos. They were little mini Ricos, Harrisons, Nicks, 80s, DPs, Rebecca. And so just a really cool atmosphere. And then I'm excited for next year. We got some more in store. So, want to shout out to everybody who came to that. Had the opportunity to present at the Black History Month Professionals series at Lincoln High School. Want to thank Jeremiah Theoric for putting that together. Had a blast. Man, it was the introduction I got from Trey Anderson was somebody I've known for a while, and he talked about the power of our first handshake and changed my whole speech. to be honest. And I just talked about that, and got a note from a couple of young people and people who came up afterwards, and it just really resonated. And so again, want to thanks for being in that space. Mentor Nebraska, had an opportunity to do some engagements with them, and then had my birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, no problem. I was looking for gifts. I think I see DP got the wrong helmet for me. So I guess I'll wait for that Cowboys helmet to come in to get gifted. But
you'll be waiting.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. He'll probably be in the Commanders now that he feels there's new hope. But really, just enjoyed it. 51 and getting to see another day. I don't take that for granted. Appreciate you and just the station, but also just those friends I got to be around. Went to dinner, low key, but Mike Alvarez and Lisa, his wife, and Jay Pitts and his wife, Megan. And just was great to just kind of connect. And when you talk about just those relationships matter. And so appreciate that. My wife, my daughter sent a couple jokes my way, and said I was getting old, and so I cut her off. But it just, like I said, it's one of those things where you kind of, you have high key, low keys, and it just, it kind of just depends. But I'm just happy to be here and experience. And so thanks for all the well wishes, whether it was text, whether it was Facebook. AD brought up something last week, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back individually and just share my appreciation to each one. And so I'll do that this week. But really, like I said, just excited and fortunate in a lot of ways. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a sweet spot. And again, happy belated birthday. And if you see Pete Ferguson today, if you stop in 1040 O Street, I think we got Allison back there working to get yourself some coffee, hang out, meet some of the talent. If you see Pete, wish him a happy belated birthday.
Cowboys gears accepted.
No, that can't bring that in here. One rule, you can't bring Cowboys gear in here. No, just kidding. But with that being said, we could recap. I know you're incredibly busy. Me and myself, we could recap everything we did last week for the entire hour if we wanted to, but we do got some guests in here. And before we go to break, I kind of want you to talk about what we have coming up ahead.
Yeah, I think kind of off the heels of the All-Star game, or All-Star weekend, I shouldn't say game, but All-Star weekend, have a couple of individuals. And I think it's, the dunk contest went on last night.
Yep.
And I'm interested. I'm going to ask them kind of the first off the cuff question in regards to that, but have John Harris, who I've known for a little while. And he is, I want to say, a community stakeholder, a phenomenal individual, has been a scholar, is a professional, but also was, and I don't want to say was because he still looks like he can go ahead and get it done, but a phenomenal high school and collegiate scholar athlete. And he is also the CEO and owner, founder of Prime Basketball. And one of the reasons I wanted to have him and some of his scholars on is because of just the values and the characteristics and the purpose that they have that's beyond being on the court. And so he's got two of his players here, and I'm going to let him also introduce them. But how you doing this morning, John?
Doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
Excited here with my guys, and so it's going to be a fun morning.
Well, tell me who now you got your guys here, so tell me who the two of them are, and then I'm going to ask you a question about All-Star, the dunk contest first.
Okay. So we got Paul Hart here. He goes to Scott Middle School, and then we got Dre Hughley Okra, who goes to Keller Middle School, and they're just great individuals. I'm happy to be around them, great families, and so yeah, it's good to be here.
Awesome. So glad to have both of you here, Dre and Paul. And so did you watch the dunk contest last night? Did you all three watch it?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch it.
I did not watch it.
You didn't?
I watched the 3-point contest.
You see the 3-point. So I can't even ask this question. Okay, no, I'm
Well,
gonna
we can
I'm
talk
gonna
about
reframe
it.
it. I'm gonna reframe it. So Mac McClure, he won again. Okay, so the G League player who won last year. And my question or my thought is that I think NBA players should get, like sponsor somebody so they can watch YouTube or whatever else, because a lot of the NBA individuals aren't doing it, or you just haven't seen anything. So like as they're seeing stuff in summer leagues or celebrity charity games, I mean, could it be a pro football player or whatever else, but there's 6 of them and they get to choose somebody and sponsor them. So the Hawks or whatever else, and then they compete in the dunk contest instead of, it could be an NBA player, but it's not just solely reliant on NBA players, especially since Mac has kind of busted down that door and won twice.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I'm of the unpopular opinion that Matt McClung shouldn't be in the dunk contest because he's not technically in the NBA. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I'm trying not to. I'm just saying, because I mean, it's an honor to be in the league, and you got to, do certain things and be at a certain level. So I think only those guys should be in it. But I do like your idea. and then if we were going with your idea, then we could sponsor him.
Okay.
So
okay. I
that's just
appreciate
my
that.
unpopular opinion. I'm trying not to get in trouble. Up
Okay.
here, so.
Okay. Well, we don't have an NBA affiliate, but now we may never have one because
I
of
just
you.
ruined that for all of us.
So nobody from Nebraska will ever be able to participate in the dunk contest, Harrison. What you just heard.
Sorry,
so
everybody.
sorry, we eliminated Hastings, Wesleyan. Yeah, anybody. Okay. No, I get that. How about you, Paul?
I feel like it kind of depends. I know there's a lot of freak athletes that come out of really small colleges and places. So your ideas, I think it's a really good idea because it's a good way to promote the way they play and their athleticism on a bigger stage.
Okay. Okay. My man, what about you?
I want to take it back to what John said. I think Max should be in the dunk contest.
Okay. Okay. A little conflict
bounce,
here.
and
We'll
just
run
a
for that
great
later.
dunker.
Okay. Well, so as you are looking, okay, so as we're talking about that, first off, John, now we kind of intro. Tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are. Have you always lived in Lincoln? Like, who makes up your family?
Wow, that's a big question because
we know you got
yeah,
we know you got a full house.
You
now.
know. So I guess it all started with Albert Maxey. He's got some paintings in here, and so he moved here and played basketball at the University of Nebraska. Is in the Hall of Fame here. From Indiana, played with Oscar Robertson. So I've got a pretty big legacy ahead of me, and married to Joanne Maxey. Maxey Elementary School is named after her, and so come from a great line of people. And then Charlene Maxey Harris and John Harris Sr. Out of St. Louis, and so those are my parents. Born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. Went to Lincoln High. Links out there,
Okay.
Lincoln High,
Yeah, they'll be emailing and calling in.
Yeah,
so we'll get you.
They know. So went to Lincoln High, great school. Then went to Benedictine College down in Atchison, Kansas. Played some ball down there and moved to Kansas City for a couple of years. Started my career as a professional, and then I was coaching for MoKan, a youth basketball program or AAU program out of Kansas City, Missouri. And got the opportunity to come back and be a graduate assistant here at Nebraska in 2019 for Fred Hoiberg's first 2 years. And then I guess I've been here ever since. So I came back in 2019. And I was gone for a couple years, but it's always good to be back. It's home,
Right.
And so, I got 3 siblings, Preston, Shannon, Joanna. They're scattered across the globe. But, that's my family. My dad's been doing community work for years. And so, he just taught me to serve people, and so that's kind of why I do what I do,
Awesome. So, Paul, what about you? Tell us, have you always been from Lincoln? Who's in your family?
I originally was born in Pullman, Washington.
Okay.
Out in Washington State. I moved here just before 6th grade, so about almost 3 years ago now. And I love Lincoln. It's amazing. Great people. I live with my mom, my sister. And it's just awesome. I go to Scott Middle School.
Okay.
We have a Martin Luther King Award.
Yeah.
And on the wall, it's his dad. I
Okay.
always see it every day.
Yeah.
Talk about legacy.
All right.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I love Lincoln. Best place.
Awesome. Now go ahead and give a shout out. I'm glad you said your mom. Okay. Because sometimes people they forget their moms, and their moms they're like knocking on the window or whatever else. But and I know sometimes people can't call their parents by their first names, but we want to get and show them love and get that affirmation out there. Who name who's in your family?
Lisa Hart is my mother.
Okay.
She's currently head coach at Concordia for tennis.
Yeah.
And my sister is Mary Beth Hart. She plays softball at Lincoln Southwest High School.
Okay, fantastic. Awesome. So got sports in your family and everything. Actually, I think I know one of the young ladies that may have played for your mom, Tara Farrell. So I have to connect with her. I didn't realize that was who it was. So do that. All right, what about you?
I was originally born in Colorado.
Okay.
I think I moved here around when I was like first grade.
Okay.
Lincoln, I like it. It's pretty.
Look at you still
chill.
sizing it up, Harrison. He's like, I'm looking outside.
Yeah.
Coffee's all right.
I have 2 siblings. My brother, he lives in Colorado still. My sister, she lives here. I live with my dad and my sister.
Okay.
And
you want to give their names and give them a shout out a little bit? Give them a little love?
Gerald Okra is my dad.
Okay.
Janiyah Story is my sister. And good people.
All right. No, good stuff. I know they're always happy about that. Well, hey, we're going to hit a break, but then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about like, what are your involvements? What are things all of you are involved in? Obviously you do play sports and you're involved in that's something that I know you take great pride in and there's some importance to it, but what beyond, the score have you learned from your time in either athletics or just in school or from your parents in general? So we'll be back on 93.7 The Ticket with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down. The snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A Shiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit asiaretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC. And then always on the ones and twos on Sunday morning, we got Harrison. So truly appreciate that. Harrison, if people want to chime in or get a hold of us, how can they?
Absolutely. 402-464-5685 is the Sartor Heyman text line, and you can use that all day long, all the way up until we got Supernovas. We have another Supernovas game today later. So I believe it's 5 o'clock. We'll stop with our regular programming, and we'll have Supernovas as the flagship station. So if you want to listen to Supernovas play-by-play, we got Renee Saunders, DP. You can do that. But in the meantime, shows 402-464-5685, streaming Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo, channel 961, all great ways to engage up until that point.
Awesome. Well, hey, we're joined in studio by three, I want to say stakeholders. I know I like using that word, but I think they do definitely not only invest in themselves, but invest in the community, their teams, and what they do. Got John Harris Jr., who is a Lincoln High grad. He wanted to make sure that gets put out there, but has traveled, a phenomenal high school, but also collegiate scholar athlete. His family's got many threads throughout the community. Got Paul, who's here. Just informed me, Harrison, I don't know if you heard, he said his dad was the OC coordinator for the Cowboys for a couple of years. Uncle. Sorry, your uncle was the OC. Sorry, your uncle was the OC coordinator for the Cowboys.
So that's why you got him in as a guest.
Oh
today.
yeah, most definitely. We don't chop it up. He said was, but it doesn't matter. Once a Cowboy's always a Cowboy. And Dre, he was absolutely phenomenal. Talked about the Nuggets a little bit. His, what did you say, 3-year-old experience?
Yeah, I went to an NBA game with my brother.
Okay. And he gave us a list. He started off really well on the list of the best players in the NBA and then kind of trailed off. Give us your top 3.
Jokic, Luka, and Kyrie.
The third one, you lose, people.
Well, stay with us for the rest of the show. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But hey, Paul, I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit. What else are you involved in?
Yeah, I play a lot of sports. I play basketball, football, and baseball. I play football for Mendito, Mendito Construction, Lincoln Youth Football. Basketball, obviously, for Prime, best organization in town. And then baseball, I've played with the Sampson baseball in 6th grade, and last year I played with the Lincoln Cyclones. This year I'll just be picking up for some teams, focusing on basketball in the summer a little bit too, and then playing Junior Legion for Standing Bear in the summer.
Cool. And so what are some of the things, I mean, obviously you're involved in a lot of things in sports, like in school and some of the other things that you're involved in, whether it be with family or other extracurriculars.
Yeah. I do student council at Scott Middle School. I'm also involved in the Hope Squad there, which is really cool, really fun to learn about different lessons like that. I also do intramurals like basketball at Scott, and I do track at Scott Middle School. And that's about it. Yeah, just trying to be involved as much as I can while I'm in middle school, all that.
And Jare, what about you? What are some things that you're involved in?
To be honest, I'm involved with basketball.
Okay.
I'm on 3 teams. I'm on Color Middle School, 5-0.
Look at he shot that out. Shout out to the Color Cougars there or whatever else.
I also play for Malone Panthers.
Okay.
And then I also play for Prime.
Okay.
And we have good, so like, I forgot the word, but our I can't think of it, but we have
good team
Yeah,
chemistry
good
and
chemistry,
camaraderie
yeah.
and everything. So both of you are involved in a number of different things. I'm gonna ask John, like, what were you involved in during, whether it be just grade school? You talked about your father and talked about service, high school, and then college, and then how does that carry over to kind of what you share with them? Not only the importance of sports, but also the other involvements outside of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to elementary school, did band and choir, all
Okay.
that stuff. Obviously, trying to be as diverse as I can be. Chess club, I think it's a great skill to learn when you're young. Did some student vote stuff when I was younger. I didn't do the student council in high school, which I wish I would have done. But I did some FCA type stuff, and let's see, college. Honestly, when you're in college, you think you're pretty good. You think you're gonna go play overseas, whatever,
Right,
this and
right.
that. And so, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunately, my senior year got cut short by an injury, stress fracture, and then I had to do a fifth year. And in that fifth year, I got involved. We helped start a Black student union at Benedictine College, one of the first ones ever. And so I got a little bit more involved my fifth year and started getting people. I don't know if you know about Benedictine,
Yeah.
but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And so they bring a lot of athletes in from the East Coast, West Coast, and it's kind of a culture shock, if you will, to be in Atchison, Kansas. And so just creating a safe space where people could meet and, get involved in different things was important. And so I did that my fifth year, and I'm pretty proud of that. But now, obviously, involved with Prime Basketball and help run a Bible study with some guys from college. And I always help my dad whenever he needs help. He runs a suit drive, and so whenever he calls him, I'm down with him.
Awesome.
That's my guy.
Awesome. Dare, when you think about like the things, involvements, and you think about just being involved in different things, and you're here, you got relationships with not only just all these teams that you're on, but also these other two in the room. Why are relationships so important to you?
Well, to me, I think relationships, if you have a relationship, they can build and build and build. And it's like I don't know. I just think they're important because if you have a relationship, you don't have to you can ask, they'll do it. It's just like a connection.
Why is it so important on the court?
Oh, so you win. So
Okay.
you can win.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, oftentimes, and I think that's one of those unique things. I think sometimes people think you could have the best player in the world, but if there's no rapport or whatever else, you can't compete. I have yet to see like a team win a championship and be like, well, we did it all on the backs of this one person. And there was we all hated each other.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Maybe the first year LeBron got it with the Cavs. That's about it.
Well, yeah. We'll go ahead and give that, if you're a freak of nature in some other ways. But Paul, same to you. Like, why do you think relationships absolutely matter?
Yeah, I feel like you can't really get anything done unless you are connected on a level, like you were saying. I feel like especially on the court, Coach Harris always tells us at least when they were really good, when they were doing really good, he said play like the Warriors, pass the ball around, share it really well, and you'll get good shots. And just not being selfish. The more unselfish we are, seems the more we win. So just working together is something we really try to work on and build relationships on and off the court.
Let me ask you, and Paul, I'm gonna start with you. What is some advice that you would have for scholars? And I always say scholars that are kind of 0 to 25 years of age. If you're sitting there and it's a piece of advice either that you've heard, you've learned, that you're growing into, that you would want to share with other scholars out there.
Yeah, I feel like just don't worry about where you are, but where you can go. I mean, you should have seen me a couple years ago. I was not where I am now, athletically or academically. Potential and hard work changes a lot of things. If you just work on yourself and focus on how much better you can get, it can really help you in the long run.
Okay, fantastic. What about you?
I want to follow up with Paul. Also, I feel like school too. You gotta do good at school and have to be coachable.
What does that mean? Because I think you hear that term so often, and people say be coachable, and people don't ever put a definition behind it. What's your definition of being coachable?
Well, my definition on being coachable is if a coach tells you to like, oh, you did this wrong, you just got to just be able to take it in and say okay and do something better. Like if he tells me, oh, I messed up the play, I'm not gonna be like, no, I didn't. I'm just gonna be like, okay, and then do the play right next time.
I like when people put some specifics to make it tangible, because people are like, well, I was coachable, like, and everybody has their own definition, and I think it's pretty standard. And so being someone that can be invested in, I oftentimes say not just coached. You might be in a classroom. You might be out in the community. So are you somebody in your job or whatever that can be invested in, which translates into being coachable? John, what about you? What's something, I mean, obviously you coach young people, but what is something that if you could say one thing that is a piece of advice that you would give to scholars right now?
I would say do the work and it will work. And so me and my buddy, my best friend, we always say, like, just put your head down and grind, and usually it'll work out for you. And so you can't skip steps. There's no shortcuts, and just grind, in a sense. And
I like that. Do the work, and what you said, do the work and it will work.
Yeah.
I like that.
Eventually.
I like that.
Yeah.
So kicking back a little bit, Jari, I'm gonna start with you. What is some advice that you would have for adults? Obviously you got individuals that come watch you all play, but you're engaged with adults in education on a daily basis. We're sitting here right now. What's some advice that you would give to us that we need to take to heart right now?
Well, like what do you mean?
Well, just like a piece of advice that adults need to take with them. So we're hard-headed. We don't always listen. We're always giving you pieces of advice. What's a piece of advice that you'd give to us?
Piece of advice? Just be you, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Paul, what about you? Piece of advice you could give any adults out there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like adults, I'm not really there yet. I'm kind of not.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You're giving us, you're pouring into us a little bit.
So I feel like, I believe it's the Tiger Woods quote. He said, you can never stop improving or something like that. And that's the exciting part. So just, it's never too late to improve yourself. Like what you do in your job, and who you are as a person, how you treat others. It's never too late to get better. And I think that's really something that a lot of people can take in.
I like that. I really do like that. That's critical. John, before we go to break, what's a piece of advice that you would have for adults?
For adults?
Yeah. Or your peers, I should say. I know you're a little less seasoned than some of us, but
for adults, I would just say, just love people, be a good person. My dad always says, be kind. And I think that goes a long ways. Sometimes in society, you're on social media, you see people doing crazy things. It's like, you got to get back to the little things, seeing people as people, and just being nice to each other and being loving to each other, and, trying to serve one another. And so that's what we try to do. And that's why we have a good relationship, I think.
Awesome. Like that. So we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, I want to hear a little bit about just how you've instilled those values into Prime basketball. Want to hear from you all, from the scholars, what's something that brings you joy, whether it's been a moment, whether it's something that's ongoing. Obviously, we know sports is part of that. And just get a couple more pieces of nuggets of insight from you that we can take with us as we close. So we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers. Sounders. The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Sunday, February 18th versus the Orlando Valkyries at the CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 7 p.m. with first serve at 8. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Old School with DP and J.
Do you think it's too early to talk about Patrick Mahomes as the greatest of all time? You know, to be honest with you, I think he might be ahead of the pace. It was definitely on pace, maybe ahead of the pace. I think right now everything that he does is going to get overblown, and I think people so quickly forgot the 20-year run of the Patriots. Not 5-6 years, 20-year run of Tom Brady and the Patriots.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
A wise nation honors and learns from its past. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. February is Black History Month, a celebration of the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Knowledge is our strongest tool against injustice. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat. Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS, and on the ones and twos, as always, on a crisp Sunday morning, we've got Harrison. Always appreciative of him being in here. Got a full day of programming, as he said earlier, with Supernovas coming up tonight, kind of capping things off at 5 o'clock, and then you've got the Ricky Simmons show, just depending on how long things go, and then also you got the Malone show as well, and then following us, you got Fitness Fanatics, so you can get your fit on. Some great advice and a lot of great things that they're doing. So highly recommend staying tuned to 93.7 The Ticket all day. Really got nowhere else to go. Football's over. You got some women's basketball on, though. You got a really good game coming up this afternoon. But just keep the ticket on either on the radio or on YouTube all day. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, just keep it on in the background, and you can watch other things, but it's always a good move. You get the app, too. I always say the app's probably the easiest way. You don't got to worry about it. You can just have it on the app, play it anywhere you go. Just go to the App Store, 93.7 The Ticket. It'll be right there.
Awesome. Well, hey, we've been joined by, I just say, a trio of individuals from Prime Basketball, and but more so, they've been giving us advice just from a scholar perspective, but also John has been gracious enough to just kind of give us some of his insight and share a little bit about his journey and his family's as well. And so, John, I wanted to just kind of ask you, obviously, you've got an organization, and a lot of people, I don't say a lot of people, but people kind of like, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to start a team. I want to start something and do it. And I feel like you've really done it for the right reasons in the right way and knowing you. And so tell us a little bit just about, what went behind creating this component, and then what's the purpose? What are the values? What's the foundation that you have built it on?
Yeah. So going into creating this whole Prime Basketball thing, it's always something that I've wanted to do. Obviously being from Lincoln, getting the opportunity to come back and getting some good knowledge from Fred Hoiberg and some good coaching, I felt I had the skills and the knowledge to kind of relay what I've learned over my basketball career. And so, like I said, serving is always something that I wanted to do, and I've always worked with kids, whether that's in education or basketball wise. And so I figured I'd try my luck, I guess, with creating an organization. And I'd been working with some kids already, and they wanted to join me and continue this journey. And so I just wanted to share, kind of how I was brought up playing basketball, just simple, playing hard, playing together, communication, just the small details that matter. And hopefully prime them for the next step in life. And that's kind of the idea about Prime, is to prime them for whatever's next. And so Prime stands for preparation, repetition, integrity, motivation, and execution. And I think if you have all those things, you really can't go wrong.
Wow. And so as you went through this process, obviously fully knowledgeable about the game, what were some things maybe outside of the game that you're like, wow, I mean, I didn't know as much about this as, I thought I did, or, I wish I'd have gotten a little bit more insight, because you've been around some phenomenal individuals. When you talk about like Fred Hoiberg, when you talk about playing, you talked about your folks and other prominent individuals. I mean, you felt, what did you say? Like, man, I wish I'd have, this is a little different than what I thought.
Just with the whole youth basketball thing?
I think basketball and just, life putting in the components into, coaching young men.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it started at Nebraska. It's about building relationships, and that's just what this is. I mean, it's all the same. Kids are just younger.
Right.
And so, but it's very interesting because they're in a very interesting time in their lives. And so I've had Paul since he was 6th grade. Dre, me and him have been around since summer. And so it's just, it's fun to watch them go into this next phase of life. And obviously I'll try to follow them as much as I can, but I think it's more simple than people make it out. But relationships, I think that's what it comes back to. And trying to pour into somebody, and obviously I don't have all the answers,
right.
But we can try to figure this thing out together. And whatever I can do for them, I'll do it. And so, I mean, we've had kids come and go, and I try to tell them, hey, whatever you need, just let me know, because it's not about basketball. Like, it's bigger than the sport. So if you need something, just give me a call. I don't want you to feel like you can't come to me because you don't play for me anymore.
Right.
And so, like you said, relationships are so important, because I got my master's in youth development, and one thing I learned there was everybody needs somebody that they can count on, you know. And if we can try to be that person, I think the world will be a better place, I guess.
I love what Mr. Bill Bryant said, William Bryant, or William Bryant Esquire, Dollar Bill. He always says, you know, every scholar or every person's at risk of you not giving them a chance. And so I love exactly what you said, is just because you're not in our team, or you're not our organization, or this, that, and the other. I want you, like, I'm connected to you,
right?
And I'm going to help you if you're good people, and what that looks like. Paul, you know, you've been a part of this organization, but also connected to John. What about him, you know, makes you be like, man, that's somebody that, you know, inspires me, that empowers me, that educates me and engages me? What are the components that make him unique compared to, you know, maybe some others that you've been around?
Yeah. When I first moved here, I wasn't sure, like, I didn't know about tryouts, anything like that for basketball teams. And Coach Harris was the only person that he let me on his team. And just right away, I knew I want to play for this guy. Like, you should have seen me. I was not the best basketball player.
You keep putting that out there, but you got a heck of a frame now when you walk in.
I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't the best basketball player, but I will say, shout out to his mom and his sister. He's one of the hardest working kids that we have, and I bet he'll get to it. But we worked out for maybe a summer or two, and he did everything I asked and more. He went over and beyond, you know. And it's tough telling a kid, hey, shoot 50 one-handed shots in front of the rim, but he'll do it. He's the type of kid who will do everything you ask. So shout out to Paul.
Yeah.
And Dre too. He does. No disrespect.
But Paul, continue. Tell me. You know, you talked about, like, just, you know, what were the characteristics? What were the values that that you see in Coach, that you're like, you know, these are things I want to take with me, you know, after I'm done playing for him.
Yeah, just kind of like seeing the good in people, you know. Everybody has good and bad qualities. And he like for me personally, he took me under his wing. Like, he saw what I could be, not what I was. And he treated me to be a better person and a better player. And I've learned so much from him. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for him. When he started Prime, I was like, man, I don't know. There's no way I'm not playing for Coach Harris. I got to play for him.
Wow. Awesome. Sir, what about you?
John's like a second brother to me. When I ask stuff, he either gives it to me or tells me, like, he got me later. But it's for John, it's not just always about basketball. He makes sure that our schoolwork is done. I have good grades. And if you have all those things, he'll reward you. If you don't have bad grades, he's not going to yell at you. He's not going to take playing. Well, he might take a little playing time because, like, you got to lock in. But, he's not going to give you a big punishment. He's just going to talk to you and tell you what you need to do. For me, I think our relationships grew from summer, 7th grade. Because when I first started Prime, I was a little nervous. Like, I'm nervous now because
no, you're good. You're good.
But,
you're good.
Yeah, so I think our relationship is great. And like I said, it's not just about basketball.
Awesome. So, you know, as you look in the future, okay, for yourself, what is something that you envision yourself doing? And I hate saying, like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you hope like, what do you see yourself being like, this is going to happen? Like, with or without you, this is going to happen for me.
What I see myself doing, well, I really want to go to college.
Okay.
I really want to go to college.
You have a specific one in mind that you just want to put out there right now if they're willing to sign you?
No.
Okay.
I just want to go to a D1 school.
Okay.
No, like, if I can't play basketball, I just want to at least just go to college.
Okay.
But I really want to play basketball.
That's all right. Is there something you want to study? Or an area?
I really like engineering. So
wow.
I like to build stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to go to college. That's my
Awesome.
one goal right now.
I love that. And Harris and I always talk about, like, nobody comes in here with like Lord, it's just always that engineering piece. My sister's an engineer, so crush it, go for that. It's going to be something that's going to match you in a lot of ways. How about you?
Well, just like I love what I do right now. And obviously that involves a lot of sports. I never really have a day off. And I want to play sports for as long as I possibly can. Just keep getting better. But and obviously, like Dre said, I would like to go to college for sure. Of course, that's in the plan. And if basketball doesn't work out, I also love engineering, so we might have started an engineering program down the road. Yeah.
So chemical, what kind of engineering? Is there a specific type?
I kind of like building.
Yeah, I like building.
Yeah.
So
I think it's skill and tech class.
Yeah, skill and tech.
Yeah.
You might be involved in that Olympic Center down there in Greenville. Go ahead and making that happen. John, what about what's the future for you hold and Prime? How, what has been a great moment, but how can people, if people need to, to support, what are things you're like, this is a great building block, but I wanted to get to this next level. And these are kind of some of the things that I need.
Oh, the future of Prime. Obviously they're going into high school. So, probably looking at getting a younger group to kind of bring up, in a way. What could it be? I mean, the sky's the limit, obviously. I worked for an organization, MoCan. That would be great. I mean, grassroots, Midwest, and they had Trey Young, Michael Porter Jr., and a lot of good guys. That's what you would want it to be, but I do want it to be just a place where kids can grow and, like I said, be primed for the next step in life, whatever that is. And so if we're going from 5th grade to 6th grade, get them ready for middle school. If they're going from 8th grade to high school, get them ready for high school. And so, I don't know, the sky's the limit. In a perfect world, I would love to have Prime Academy,
Right.
In a place where you can kind of control things. Like, this is the standard, this is how we do things, teach them life skills and all that stuff, obviously bigger than basketball. And let them know that, if you don't have this education piece, this whole basketball stuff is a wash pretty much. And so, that's big picture, if I was Jeff Bezos and had all the money in the world, So.
No. So if people want to get in touch with you or learn about their schedules or see these young men engage, not only just on the court, but also engage them off the court. Do you have a site? Do they call you personally?
Yeah, you can call me personally. I don't know if I want to just put my number.
I was going to say, no. I didn't know if you had a website or anything that they can go on. Or
we've got an Instagram, Prime Basketball Club on Instagram, showing the kids doing what they do. I mean, if you want to reach out to me, you reach out to Pete, and I'll get you my information, and we can connect that way.
Awesome.
So,
well, hey, I want to thank you all just for joining us. Best of luck as you wind up the season.
Thank you.
We end again. It's Black History Month, and then Gloria Jean Watkins, who's bell hooks, just stated, to truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients: care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. Bell hooks. Thanks for joining us on 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score. This is Pete Ferguson.
Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo.